Christian discipleship is a choice to live for others and not for benefits. Several years ago, during the time of the Gulf War, there was a young soldier who was given orders to join with the army in Iraq. He had a very serious problem. He did not want to go. When he was asked why he was not willing to go, he replied, "I did not join the army to go to war. I had joined the army because of the benefits, the pay, the college tuition, the insurance, etc." There is a problem here. There is something wrong with that kind of thinking. One of the primary functions of the military is to prepare for war. One should know this before he joins. It is somewhere in the job description. Armies do not exist only for benefits. Armies exist to deal with conflicts. Being a soldier demands commitment to defend the people, to fight the enemy, and to contend against evil, even at the cost of their own life. But there are people who actually join up, hoping for a free ride. Being a disciple of Christ also demands total commitment, a commitment to live like Christ for others. In the letter of St. James chapter 4 verse 3 we read, "You ask but do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions." The apostle exhorts us to ask for the right things for the right purpose. The Gospel according to St. Mark chapter 9 verse 31, Jesus foretells again about his passion, death and resurrection. He said, "The Son of Man is to be betrayed into human hands, and they will kill him, and 3 days after being killed, he will rise again." But the disciples did not understand what he was saying, but were afraid to ask him. Earlier, when he foretold about his passion, Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. In the Gospel of Mark chapter 8 verse 33, he rebuked Peter and said to him, "Get behind me, Satan." This is because Peter and the disciples did not understand what it meant to follow him. They were not aware of the demands of being a disciple of Christ. They were discussing on the way about who was the greatest among them. Jesus continues to teach them by saying, "Whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all." Real discipleship is not about glory. In fact, it is a complete reversal of the way the world works. There is no corporate ladder of discipleship. Jesus says, if you want to be first, you have to be the last. Being a top disciple means denying oneself to put into practice the call to love one's neighbor. In chapter 10, Jesus says, "The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus demonstrates the radical reversal of rank as he wraps his arms around a little child. He said, "Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me." In the Jewish culture, children were right at the bottom of the society. They were under the authority and care of others. They had no standing in the society. That is why Jesus puts the child in the center. For him, one can become great only by welcoming even the lowliest. Not just children, but all who are like children in their smallness and unimportance. This kind of radical hospitality of caring for others, especially the loneliest, is the mark of Christian discipleship. As Timothy reminds us in his second letter, chapter 2, let us be enduring the sufferings as good soldiers of Christ, without getting tied up with the affairs of this world. Let us humbly accept our total acceptance of Him by proclaiming with the psalmist, "The Lord upholds my life."